Evening, everyone. Hope you're well. Apologies about last week. Consumed by illness, as I think a lot of the We Love Betting crowd were. We are back this week. We built up a nice little run, I think, of picking winners in the league weeks leading up to last week. So let's hope that can continue. Let's start off in League Two. Fleetwood, first of all. I think another tough couple of weeks for Graham Alexander, who always appears to be one of the managers under the most pressure, I think, at the top of that division. Defeat at home to York, a draw at Wycombe, beat Chesterfield in the week in the Johnstone Pate Trophy, but the damage was done in the first leg there, so they suffered, at the final hurdle, really, before reaching a Wembley place. It shouldn't escape our notice that Scott Davis has been dropped in the Fleetwood goal as well. Chris Maxwell's come in the last couple of games. I think Maxwell will face bigger tests than the victory at Northampton, obviously the victory at Chesterfield and the draw at Wycombe as well. I think that the start of those tests could come this weekend at Mansfield, who are on a solid run. Probably Paul Cox would want a few more W's in the win column, but some decent performances, I think. A time of year when pitches are churning up and the weather's playing havoc, and it's sides like Mansfield that can really start to make some progress, I think. In these type of conditions, it's going to be a tough place to go, I think, for Fleetwood this weekend. Like I say, a solid run. I think loads of chances in that 3-0 defeat to Oxford last week. Just couldn't stick the ball in the net. And both managers were pretty adamant that 3-0 wasn't a fair reflection on the scoreline. Beat Southend at home before that, so some decent home form running into this game. 11-5 is a pretty decent price. As a bit of a side issue before we talk about goal scorers, definitely one on my list, I think, this weekend. When we talk about Mansfield goal scorers, Sam Clucas sticks his head above the parapet, I think, at 11-4. 12 goals already this season. Paul Cox, a Mansfield manager, more than happy for Clucas to still be a Mansfield player after the January transfer window. No doubt, probably in my mind, that he can ply his trade at a little bit of a higher level. Only, not a great history of goals, or not a great kind of history to go back and look at fixtures between these two, but the one game this season ended in a 5-4 Fleetwood victory, so we can maybe expect some goals this weekend as well. And I think if Mansfield are going to get on the score sheet, then Sam Clucas could be the one at around 11-4. So Sam Clucas makes up the first leg of the Anytime treble. We will continue into League Two. Chesterfield, if Paul Cook is listening to this, job nearly done, I think, Paul. If you are listening, like I say, a nice a couple of victories would suit me down to the ground, to make it a stress-free March and April as I sit back and watch the procession to League Two Championship and League One football next year, which would be very nice. Unbeaten in their last 7, obviously had that defeat to Fleetwood in the Johnstone Pate Trophy in the week, but like I say, the damage was already done in the first leg, a 3-1 victory there. Like I say, so 7 without defeat in the league. The goals are flowing as well, scored 2 or more in 6 of their last 7, and no reason to think that is the kind of record that won't continue when they head to Wycombe this weekend. No win in Wycombe's last 9 games, continue to keep it tight, and arrested that atrocious record of not scoring at home in their last game, which escapes me again about who it was against. However, just 1 goal in their last 6 home games. I go down the Chesterfield list. It is full of potential goal scorers, not all of them at a decent price, but one which stands out is Gary Roberts. I think Gary Roberts is due, by far and away one of the better players in this division. 9 already this season. Was part of that Huddersfield side that went and scored 6 against Wycombe twice. In 3 seasons, a couple of seasons ago back. So some good memories, I think, of heading to Adams Park. A couple of goals in his record against Wycombe as well. So like I said, no real reason other than he looks like he's about due. I think he's gone 5 without a goal. Coming into that game, good memories of past performances against Wycombe. 11-4 will do me for the second of the Anytime Notebook treble. For the third one, then we're going to head up into League One. A big weekend for Leyton Orient and Russell Slade in particular. Brentford play Wolves this weekend, so for the chasing pack, every chance that either one or both of those sides are going to drop points. So particularly for Orient, I think a chance for them to lay down a marker, close the gap on those two, pick up a few points, and make it a 3-horse race again. Picked up nicely, I think, after 3 defeats in the middle of last month. They lost to Bristol City, Peterborough and Rotherham. I don't think we should play down the goalkeeping situation for Leyton Orient. Jamie Jones out since, I think, mid-December with a back injury. Jakupovic, he was recalled by Hull Hull, had some goalkeeping issues, so he was recalled. Ben Olwick was brought in. I won't say too much about him. Off for medical grounds, sorry. So something obviously not right just there. They brought in the lad from Bournemouth as well, Jalal, who didn't have the best of games. All in all, that resulted in, well, I counted up 11 games, and they had 5 different goalkeepers in all of those games. Conceded 7 in those 3 defeats that I talked about a couple of seconds ago. Jakupovic has come back in, and that's resulted in a solid performance at Preston, a win and a clean sheet against Stevenage in midweek as well, and just signs, I guess, that Leyton Orient can put those goalkeeping issues to the past and start again, really, and look forward to the run-in as a chance to chase down the top 2. And that could very much start when they host Swindon this weekend. Not a good week for Swindon, going out with the Johnston Paint Trophy, just a penalty shootout away from Wembley. Some issues come out the back of that game as well. Obviously, they lost to Peterborough. Alex Pritchard, Louis Thompson, both going to be injured. They join Niall Ranger on the injury list. Jay McEverly, Nathan Thompson, both out suspended as well. So I've talked about Swindon a lot over the last couple of weeks, but every chance that their season could just begin to die a slow death and they could fall away from the playoffs. Nothing against Swindon, but that could definitely be the case. I'm going to put up here Moses Odubajo. At a short price. I always think it's a short price. If anyone's been kind of following me on Twitter or anything at all over the last couple of years, they may remember we made hay at the beginning of last year when lots of bookmakers had their eyes closed, thought he was a fullback. That was not the case. We were backing him at double-figure prices every week, and he obliged in some of those weeks. 5-1 is all you get nowadays for backing Odubajo. 9 goals in his season already. Scored 2 in the reverse fixture as well. Every chance that he could get at the Swindon defence this weekend. Like I say, in a weekend where Orient are going to be keen to maintain that good momentum and chase down the top 2. So we will put Odubajo up at 5-1. He joins Gary Roberts at 11-4 in the Anytime Notebook. And the last one, Sam Clucas, 11-4 for Mansfield as they host Fleetwood. Whatever you're back in, have a decent weekend. I'll see you on the other side.